Hi everyone, this is Mike of Syntax American Chat. I curate and break down current topics for an international audience, such as U.S. tax updates, international news, and key Wall Street headlines. If you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe. I'd also love to hear your questions in the comments. Thank you for your support. Recently, the Wall Street Journal published an interview with President Donald Trump. What stood out was not a policy announcement, but something more unusual in politics. Trump openly said that he is not certain his economic policies will translate into wins in the 2026 midterm elections. That kind of statement is rare. Politicians usually speak with confidence, even when outcomes are unclear. But in this interview, Trump acknowledged a real concern, not about ideas on paper, but about whether voters will actually feel the results in time. So today, instead of arguing whether his policies are good or bad, I want to do something different. I want to explain why he might be worried, what midterm elections really mean, and how everyday economic reality connects to political outcomes. What is a midterm election, and why does it matter? Let's start with a basic question. What exactly is a midterm election? In simple terms, a midterm election is like a midterm exam for the party in power. The president stays in office, but seats in Congress, especially the House of Representatives, are reshuffled. Whoever controls Congress determines what happens next. Will bills pass or get blocked? Will budgets move forward or get stuck? Can policies be adjusted quickly or will they be slowed down? So when Trump talks about midterms, he's not just talking about reputation. He's talking about political reality. If voters feel that their lives haven't improved, the party in power often loses seats, regardless of intentions. What does Trump say he's been doing? In the interview, Trump pointed to several broad directions of his economic approach, using tariffs as tools for negotiation and industrial policy, attracting domestic investment and encouraging manufacturing to return, cutting taxes and reducing regulations, reshaping certain trade arrangements and industry-level investments. These are all top-level policy decisions. But here's the key issue. Top-level decisions don't immediately show up in your wallet. Factories don't start operating the day after an announcement. Investments don't turn into higher wages the day after a deal is signed. And what people feel most directly, day to day, is much simpler. Grocery prices, gas prices, rent, and loan payments. The core issue, policy time lag. This brings us to the heart of Trump's concern, policy time lag. Let me give you a specific example. Suppose the government raises tariffs to protect domestic industries. Two things can happen. First, in the short term, costs may rise. Importers pay the tariffs first. Then those costs pass to wholesalers, then retailers. Only later do consumers see changes on store shelves. Second, even if tariffs eventually help bring factories back or create jobs, that process takes time. Companies look at demand. They look at interest rates. They look at supply chains. Only then do they decide whether to expand, hire, or raise wages. And this is where politics becomes unforgiving. Voters vote based on how life feels right now. Policy effects may take 6 months, a year, or longer to fully appear. That time gap is exactly what Trump was referring to when he said he's not sure. Why did he focus on the cost of living? One detail in the reporting matters a lot. According to Reuters, Trump said he doesn't know when the benefits of his policies will really kick in, when people will actually feel them. And he clearly understands what voters care about most right now, the cost of living. Is grocery shopping still expensive? Is daily life getting cheaper or not? Reuters also reported that, due to pressure from rising food prices, the administration recently rolled back or adjusted tariffs on more than 200 food-related items. That's a practical response to public pressure. The same Reuters Ipsos poll showed something else. Trump's overall approval was around 41%. But on the issue of cost of living, approval was only about 31%. In political terms, that gap is a warning sign. You can talk about long-term strategy, but voters tend to ask one question. Are my bills lower than before? How do supporters see it? Another Reuters piece looked at Trump voters themselves. Many of them also say prices are high and that they feel squeezed by the cost of living. But interestingly, many don't place all the blame on the president. They point to corporations, supply chain disruptions, or problems from previous years. At the same time, they admit their feelings are mixed. Some say gas prices seem to have come down a bit, but food, dining out, and service prices still feel high. This explains Trump's uncertainty. His core supporters may still be there, but swing voters tend to care less about explanations and more about lived experience. If daily life doesn't feel easier, midterm elections become very difficult. 3 possible scenarios. Let's walk through 3 simple scenarios. No politics, just logic. Scenario A. People feel relief quickly. Food prices, gas prices, and interest rate pressure decline. People feel that life is getting easier. In this case, the midterms become much easier for Republicans. Scenario B. The data looks good, but people don't feel it. Markets rise and investments increase, but everyday expenses still hurt. This is often the most dangerous scenario politically because elections are driven by majority sentiment, not statistics. Scenario C. Short-term pain becomes more visible. If tariffs, costs, or inflation pressures increase, or if the job market slows, then backlash in the midterms becomes more likely. What should you watch going forward? If you want to track this story without getting lost in the noise, there are 6 indicators that matter most. 1. Food prices, the most immediate signal. 2. Gas prices, the fastest emotional response. 3. Job growth and unemployment, how easy it is to find work. 4. Wage growth, whether pay keeps up with prices. 5. Interest rates, mortgages, car loans, credit cards. 6. Consumer confidence, the public's overall mood. These tend to shape how elections unfold more than speeches do. So the key takeaway from this story isn't drama. It's a basic political and economic reality. Policies take time, but elections don't wait. Before we end, I'll leave you with a question, not for debate, just reflection. Over the past year, do you feel that daily life has become easier or harder for you and your family? And more broadly, after more than a year in office, how do you feel about this president? If you enjoy this kind of plain language breakdown of major news, feel free to subscribe.